Welcome back, everyone, to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here for today on the show. What can I say? We're having an incredible, super badass Saturday because we're going to have an incredible conversation with none other than the amazing, the badass, the superstar, the legendary, the one and only, even a superhero. Let's find out why. Emily, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. As I said here, this is the best way to start a badass weekend because I'm going to chat with someone as badass as you. You know what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow. It helps a lot, but also in the description below, you're going to find all of Amelie's social media. You know what? Let's follow her. Let's share some love, and let's find out why she's super badass. And without further ado, let's jump in. So, I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the very first question, which is, when you first stepped into acting, tell me, what do you think that it would give you, and what has it given to you now?
So I first stepped into acting pretty young, like in middle school. I was doing like theater in school and stuff. And I think for a long time, it was just like a place to be silly and express my emotions and like just be ridiculous. And through that, I found a great community of people growing up. And then obviously now, like making that my career path, it's given me a lot. It's taught me a lot, and it's definitely not been easy. So yeah, I guess that's like a vague answer, but yeah,
Mm,
definitely introduced me to so many incredible people and given me so many great life skills. I think acting and studying acting also like has made me a better person in a lot of ways. You know, it helps you see things from other people's perspectives, literally put yourself in other people's shoes and like really think about experiences maybe you've never experienced or emotions you've never experienced. And I think you can definitely learn through that.
mm. And tell me, as you know, back when you started to make your first moves every now and then. But by this point, what have been some of the either stereotypes or walls that you have encountered for you to kind of surpass them to continue moving forward?
In acting,
Hmm.
um, I would say, I mean, there's that stereotype of like the waiter who's an actor. And I would say that's kind of funny. I am a part-time server, and all of my coworkers are also servers and or are also actors. And it's funny, a lot of them have had really great careers, and you could turn on Netflix and see my server coworkers like on the TV. But I think something that has been the biggest learning lesson, it's a stereotype for a reason, like the grind of acting or any type of freelance job, like you're always looking for the next gig and like looking for what's next. So that can be really difficult. And yeah, so I think just it's a funny stereotype for a reason that like actors are servers or like the struggling artist, but it is true.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's part of the process, right? I mean, whenever we start something
Exactly.
new from scratch, I mean, usually it takes time, and you need to sustain yourself. I totally get it, and what I have discovered, I work in some restaurants, years ago. But what I saw is that they're actually super accessible with the schedule, which is great, and I think that
So
is
flexible.
it makes sense why an actor will be searching that because auditions, films, things like that, in which you can get either super quickly. You could get a phone call and be like, hey, you have an audition for this one, go now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get it why the whole they will search things like that. They're
Yeah.
super friendly with the schedule, and you know what I mean. So
Super flexible. And it's also kind of fun to watch your coworkers like be like, I booked a job and I'm going to Canada for 3 months, or like I booked something, so I'm going here. Like I feel like we all kind of keep each other excited about entertainment and working and auditioning. And you kind of feed off that energy.
yeah, plus working in a restaurant also helps you to see more about people. You know what I mean? You can get the chance to
Definitely.
experience more, to see them, to get the idea on how sometimes a person usually is. So I think that, I mean, I would assume that that also works for your acting career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
pretty cool. I started to discover why you're badass. We're just recently starting out, and I'm already having this vibe here. Just
You're
saying.
picking it up. Yeah.
Mhm. Pretty cool. Now, have you found that playing characters sometimes reveals truths about yourself that perhaps at that point you didn't want to face, let's say?
Definitely. I think maybe something that has been interesting for me, I've played a lot of villains in my acting career, or a lot of maybe unlikable characters. And I found during the process, finding a lot of myself sometimes in those characters, and then being like, whoa, whoa, am I the villain? Am I like, and do I have these qualities, so that might be sometimes kind of hard to put your mind through, of like, you really relate to this character, but like on paper that they're the bad guy and they're doing all of these horrible things, but you completely know why, and you're like, are they justified in this? Because I see why they acted or behaved this way. And so I think, especially when I was younger, when I was like 18, 19, that was something that was really weird, because I was just like, am I a bad person that I can relate to these really mean, awful characters, or that I can find some sense of like human in them and really bring that to life? So that was definitely a struggle at first. But now I think it's something that, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, it's just, we're all human. Even the most evil, awful person, there's a part of them that is human just like the rest of us, and just wants to be loved and accepted by their community and the people around them. So I feel like at first it was hard, but then it just gave me this better understanding of people. So yeah.
Okay. What have you enjoyed the most about playing villain?
Ooh. So it's fun to go crazy, because it's not, you don't get to do that in your own life as yourself. So it's fun to do that like in a character on stage, in a theater, or like in a film, or on a set. It's really fun.
Okay. And after, long day, you said, what do you usually do to kind of return to be the real you? Is there any specific activity, music, meal? Like, what is your thing here?
Um, I do have this weird thing that I do for jobs. I wear a lot of rings. Normally, I don't have any rings on, which is funny. But I wear a lot of rings and jewelry. I feel like it makes me very me. And so something that I do that weirdly helps me like get out of character is like put back on my personal jewelry. It's like, I don't know, it's like I'm back into me. And so that's kind of like my little ritual of like, I take my jewelry off in the morning, or like once I get to set, or once I'm at the theater, and then I can kind of like sink into the mindset of that character and be thinking about that character. And I always make a playlist for my characters too. So I'll like listen to that music for them, take off my rings or my necklaces, and then at the end, putting those back on is kind of like, okay, now I'm me again.
Okay. Okay. Which song would you say that could describe you?
Me as
Hmm.
myself?
Hmm.
Oh, I have no idea. That's hard. I like all different types of music, and it truly changes like with the wind what I want to be listening to. But for characters, I feel like it's really fun because you can get really specific with what part of them you want to kind of lean into, or what part of them you relate to the most, of like where you overlap with the character, and finding music that you and the character would listen to is kind of fun. But I would say I'm a big fan of like Sabrina Carpenter, and her music's really fun. So I'm really liking her right now.
Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. And tell me, what's that song that helped you to be more in character when you were about to play a villain?
I used to there's one villain specifically that I've played a few times. I played Abigail in The Crucible. I don't know if you're familiar with that play by Arthur Miller. But it's based on the Salem witch trials, and she got a lot of people killed, and she was a real person as well. So it's like very interesting. But I used to listen to Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. That was a big one that I really loved to use for villains.
Mm,
It was a fun song.
okay. I'll take it. All right. Now, what has been harder for you? The moments of failure or the moments of success?
Probably the moments of success, weirdly, because it sometimes feels like a little tease, like, because it's like at where I'm at in my career. And like I said, I still have a part-time serving job, and like I didn't have to go to my serving job for like 3.5 months because I was working, and that was amazing. But it's like then you have to go back to it. So sometimes in those moments of success, it's like it feels like almost a dream or something, that like you're just living in this fantasy that is going to end, that it's temporary, and you're going to go back to like back to your apartment with your roommate and like back to your serving job. So sometimes I think that can be hard of like you get to kind of live out your dreams one day and then the very next day you're like back in the same routine. So that can be hard. LA especially, it's like, you see all of these like incredible billboards and you're passing all of the studios and like it's just the energy is palpable of like stars are made here, but then you know some are in the making. So you kind of have to
Totally.
like decide how much you can take and how much of that like up and down you can handle and keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it because as you were saying, the fact that you want to always be at the top, right? It's a very competitive industry,
Of
so you
course.
always would need to be, on top. And I get it that sometimes that can be a little bit challenging, the success moments, because as I said, you need to always keep that pace, right? You want to
Yeah.
keep that pace going in order to continue moving forward. So I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Now, do you think the pursuit of recognition changes an actor's relationship with their craft?
Definitely. I definitely do. Or I guess maybe not all the time, but I think a lot of the actors that I meet or have worked with that really want to be famous, it's a just completely different approach to the career and like what they're doing than I feel like people who are like, I'm an actor because I just like love storytelling and I love theater and I love, being an actor. It's a very different vibe. Very, very different. And I've definitely noticed that, especially in LA, because it is a little bit more like influencers, some areas, and like how many followers do you have? And that's weird. It's definitely weird. So I definitely do think a lot of people's approach to wanting to be famous or like have a ton of followers on Instagram and that's the only reason that they're doing it and they don't really have strong morals or strong values that they want to show in their art. Yeah, it's definitely a different type of work.
And what are some of your thoughts about this day and age, right? In which you were saying the fact that depending on the amount of followers depends on the amount that some people might treat you or the type of jobs you're gonna get.
I understand that a lot of you need an audience to make money off of like your work and I totally get that. But I think we're starting to lean maybe a little too hard into that and less into who can tell the story the best way possible and it's turned into who's going to look good telling the story and then post it to millions of people to click on. And so I do think we're losing some of our maybe more like gritty artistic styles and stories, but I like to think that we'll always return back to that because as humans like we want to see that kind of stuff. We want to relate to people who struggle like we struggle or are in pain like we're in pain. And I think at some point people are going to get a little sick of the influencers who have no care to actually tell like an emotionally complex story.
Okay. Now, if storytelling is a mirror of humanity, what part of humanity do you hope your work reflects?
I love this question. I think, at least I think it was Uta Hagen, who's like an acting practitioner, who had said, I think it's Uta Hagen, now I'm going to quote it and be wrong. But she had said, good art holds up a mirror to society. And so is what that question kind of reminds me of. And so I feel like I definitely think that that is true. What my From what I've put out, what my legacy or my story, I guess, would be, I don't know. That's a hard question because I feel like you said, entertainment and a lot of the work that I've ended up doing, especially out in LA, has been kind of like geared towards like quick clicks, like what's easy, what's simple, what's fast, what can we like crank out as quick as we possibly can, instead of like what is really quality scripts or what's really quality storytelling. So like hearing that question, it makes me a little like, I don't know, because I feel like the art that I've been a part of and like the acting jobs that I've done, it's very lighthearted type of storytelling. But then when I think of like what my true goals, I guess, as an actor or artist is I really love those like hard to tell stories or maybe like things that make you a little uncomfortable. And I think I would want more of my work to reflect that. But I've yet to do a ton of that kind of stuff, especially in film and television. I've more so done that in theater. And while I love theater and it's this great niche experience that can never be recreated, the beauty of film and television is it can live forever, like way beyond your lifetime and continue to be enjoyed by people and audiences. And so I hope that I can make more stuff like that in the future because I would like that to be more of my legacy of like stories that move you and make you think and make you a little bit uncomfortable because I think growth can come from even watching a movie.
Hmm. Oh, I like it. I do think you are already kind of showing out there that dreams are possible. You know what I mean? I think that's super powerful, especially in this day and era. The fact that so much hate around, but hey, but the fact that we can see you, someone who is pursuing their passions and dreams and who actually is showing results. I think, kind of your art is kind of showing already this message that dreams are
Yeah,
possible, which is pretty cool.
very true. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, do you think an actor's greatest performance is one that entertains, one that heals, or one that makes people uncomfortable?
Any and all. I think good art and memorable stuff can entertain you or it can move you or it can make you uncomfortable. I've definitely been in a place where I've like wanted all of those things from like a movie. Sometimes people are like, I just really want to cry, so I'm going to put on this movie, or like, I really want to laugh, so I'm going to watch this TV show. So I think there's like a space for all of that. Everybody kind of has those shows that you put on or movies you watch that you're like, I know I'm going to feel XYZ, or like the movie or TV show that you watched that was so good but made you so uncomfortable that you're like, I'm never going to watch that again, but I loved it. So I think it can be all of those things or any of those things, and that's what's fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, tell me, what are some of your favorite films of all time?
uh, I love Whiplash. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. La La Land. I also love La La Land. It's just I love musicals, so that's like really fun, but it's just so beautifully shot. I love the cinematography in La La Land. Some of my other favorite films, Confessions of a Shopaholic. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's like from like early 2000s, I think. It's Isla Fisher. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like so silly and funny and it just makes me laugh. Like or like Napoleon Dynamite. Like I don't know if you're familiar. Yeah. But that is another movie that it's like I just put that on to laugh, and it also is like nostalgic. It reminds me of my sisters and my dad and like all of our funny senses of humor, and yeah. So those are probably some of my favorites.
Okay.
What are
Okay.
some of your favorite movies? I feel like
My
you can kind
favorite
of tell a
films.
lot about someone.
Oh, okay. I will go with Training Day. Have you seen that with Denzel
No.
Washington and
Oh
I think
wait,
it's
yes,
Ethan
yes, yes,
Hawke. Yeah.
yes.
The one that so that one
That's
would
a good
be.
film.
Second one would be. Oh, 21 Jump Street for sure. The first one,
Yes,
best one.
I watched that
Um,
recently. Oh,
yeah,
so funny.
it's one of those films in which you just disconnect your brain and
Yes,
have a laugh to it. You know what I mean?
right.
So then the other one would be. Ooh, okay, I might say it wrong, but it was with Ewan McGregor, and I think the movie is called Christopher Robin. When he,
Yes,
yeah, that one,
a good
that one
one.
for sure. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else?
So many good
Well,
films. There.
probably Gladiator for sure,
I haven't
but
seen
like,
it.
the
I haven't
original
seen it.
one. Like
Oh,
the
okay, okay.
yeah, the one with Russell Crowe, definitely that one. Um,
These are some good
and
movies.
yeah, thank you.
What about TV shows? Do you have any
Oh,
favorite TV shows?
yeah, TV shows is easier. TV shows I have Vikings, Peaky Blinders, Arcane, Ted Lasso,
Love Ted Lasso.
incredible.
So
The
funny.
Silo, yeah, that one. And
Have you ever watched or heard of Righteous Gemstones?
I haven't, no.
It's a very like ridiculously silly TV show on HBO Max created by Danny McBride,
Mm-hmm.
and he stars in it, and so does, I'm terrible with actor names. Anyway, it's great. It's so funny. It's more recent, and that's been probably one of my favorite TV shows, like in
Okay.
the last 5 years. It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take it for
Yeah,
sure. You
you'll
know,
have
one of
to just give it a Google.
yeah.
It's good.
Is it the whole thing already, or is another season like coming, or
I think it's done, unfortunately.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. The reason
It
I ask
just
you is
ended.
because I get like so addicted to a show. You know what I mean? If I like it, I'm like,
Yes.
I'm gonna binge watch the whole thing. You know?
Yeah, there are 4
So
seasons.
yeah, okay. So I think I have
Yeah.
enough material for a
You
couple of
you'll have
days.
enough to binge for sure.
That's
It's
pretty cool.
so funny. It's about like a mega church, like a big
Oh, okay.
church corporation, and it's like a satire. They're very corrupt, and that's like the point, is that they're very
Mm,
corrupt. Um,
yeah, I'll take it for sure. You know, now that you mentioned Corporation, one that I forgot that I recently watched was Severance.
yes, yes. I'm not caught
Yeah,
up though, so no spoilers.
yeah, no
But that
spoilers, but
show I have to
mm.
like watch in small doses because I feel like my brain can't handle. Or Black Mirror. I don't know if you've watched
Oh,
the show.
yeah, yeah,
Talk
uh-huh.
about art that makes you uncomfortable. Like I will watch an episode, and there's certain episodes that watching one time is enough, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's a
Yeah,
great show.
yeah, you know, there's and like the whole thing to it, it's true. You know, it's one of those shows, or at least it happened to me too, in which I saw it, and I'm like, I'm never gonna watch this again. You know, because I'm like, okay, cool. Some other shows that I will watch every now and then. For example, The Office. I love The Office
Yeah,
too.
of course.
So I will be watching it every now and then. You know, because but Black Mirror, yeah, had a lot of episodes which make me feel a little bit uncomfortable or be like,
Yeah.
what the hell are we heading to? You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
touches so many yeah, like so many topics we are currently living in, but in a different way. But the messages to it, you know what I mean?
Right. But they like are really good at doing it where it's like, this seems like this could never happen, but it's kind of close.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Fascinating.
absolutely. Now, what do you think that is the cost of vulnerability for you? Now, not just in front of the camera, but in life.
I don't know. I feel like vulnerability has always come pretty easy for me in a lot of ways. I've always been a very sensitive kind of emotional person, and then growing up in the theater, I was surrounded kind of by people who taught me pretty young that like that's fine. And it wasn't until I got a little older that I feel like I noticed that a lot of other people like are very uncomfortable to express a lot of these emotions that I've never really thought twice about. So sometimes with I guess with that, for me, vulnerability, it doesn't come at a cost, I guess.
Mm,
It's pretty natural to me. And so I think that's part of the reason I've always wanted to be an actor, because, on set or in the theater playing a character, like it's okay to express all of these emotions that maybe at other times in my life I was told it's not okay. I think vulnerability makes people stronger. It brings us together. It heals people. It helps people grow. I'm a big champion for vulnerability and expressing your emotions for sure. Yeah, but I know that it is hard for people, but I think the more that we talk about how we feel and what we experience, the better we feel. It brings us together.
yeah, absolutely. The more vulnerable you are, the more real you are, and then people can actually relate to that in a more honest way. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do agree with you. I think it's one of the things that we desperately, yeah, desperately need right now. The fact that we can be like more vulnerable to it, you know, and because most of the times we're not, you know, and having to portray this fake image sometimes, or this fake persona. Sure, it might work sometimes, but at some point your own vulnerability, your own real self, it's gonna want to jump in. You know what I mean? And I do
Yeah.
think that if you are vulnerable 100%, sure, you have to learn where. You know what I mean? It's part of the process,
Definitely.
but at the same, you know, if you are real, people like more honest people will get into your life because they actually appreciate who you really are. So yeah,
Yeah.
more badass.
Hopefully.
Just saying. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, do you believe your art will outlive you? And if so, what do you hope it says?
I definitely think art can outlive you, definitely. Especially with like pen to paper or like um film and television, depending on the backed media of it. But I would hope that it just makes people laugh, makes people, feel human feelings.
There
You
you
get
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll take it. All right, now jumping to our next section, speed round questions, yes, no, or pass. Super simple.
got it.
Gonna ask you a couple of questions
I'm
in
ready.
which you can only answer yes, no, or pass. You
Okay,
ready?
ready.
Cool. So, do you believe every role changes you?
Yes.
Have you ever turned down a role you still think about?
Yes.
Do you think rejection is a gift?
Yes.
Is
Definitely.
act is acting more about truth than talent?
Both?
Okay,
I
I'll
don't know.
take it. So we will leave it like in a 50-50 perhaps, you know?
Wait, yeah.
Okay.
50-50.
Okay. Is starting small underrated?
No. Start small.
Have have you ever felt more at home in a character than in your own skin?
Yes.
Do you believe success without pain exists?
No.
Have you ever considered leaving acting behind?
Yes.
Do you think the world still values great storytelling over quick entertainment?
Yes. I hope.
Okay. Okay. Do you believe patience is more valuable than speed in a creative career?
Yes.
Okay. And a bonus question, can you cry on cue?
On cue, like, no. But like, if the script is good, yeah, the
Mhm.
tears come fast.
Okay. I'll take
I've
it.
been
I'll take it.
directed where they're like, we don't need you to cry here. You don't need to cry. And I'm like, the waterworks are flowing.
Okay. I'll take it. Pretty badass. You know, even a lot more badass. You know, you just keep breaking the bar here, just saying.
I appreciate it.
And tell me, if this conversation was the last time you ever spoke about your craft, what do you want to leave behind in people's hearts?
Um, Follow your dreams and be kind and nice to the people you meet on your way.
There you go. All right. And what do you think the 10-year-old version of yourself would think about you right now?
Oh my gosh. I feel like she'd think I was really cool. I think
Pretty
she would
cool.
be like really pumped that I like live in LA. I actually this guitar I got for my I think 11th birthday. And that's part of the reason I have it hanging in my room, because it like inspired. This is all I've ever wanted to do is like be a performer. So I know that my 10-year-old self in her Missouri bedroom would think it is so awesome that I'm like doing what I'm doing and auditioning and booking jobs and living in LA. Yeah.
And you know what? My last question. So we can all enjoy and relax after an epic chat here. So, what do you think that could be the best title for this episode?
Amelie pronounced like family. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Take your time. Usually this question takes the longest, so I totally get it.
What should this episode be called? Good art holds up a mirror to society. Is that too long of a title? Does it need to be
I mean,
short?
I mean, it would be nice, you know what I mean? But if
Maybe
that's
something more chill then, like being vulnerable.
big vulnerable,
Sure. I love vulnerability.
that could be the title. I love vulnerability.
Oh, there we go.
There we
See, we
go.
got there
We
together.
got a title. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, I mean, it sounds like a franchise to me. Who knows? Just saying. You know,
Perfect.
I'm gonna make sure to tag Netflix, Max, Apple TV. You know, maybe we are throwing the next
Yeah.
big
We'll get
the
the
next
ball
big
rolling
project. Totally. Oh,
Yeah.
love it. And you know, at the end, what can I say? You know, I love it. Yeah, I just love it. You know, I love your career. I love what you do. It's amazing the fact you're doing what makes you happy. As we were saying before, we all know how difficult that can be, for sure. But you're making it happen. You know, you're showing out there that dreams are possible. As I said, I mean, that is super badass enough because, as I said here, you are showing that everything is possible. Sure, it's challenging, and I'm sure there's been days in which you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, but you're making it happen out there. You know, I think that is super cool and super positive, and it's people like you in this world who are giving us hope. You know what I mean? And that is incredible. That is badass, and I will discover why you're super badass.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Absolutely. I do want to thank also those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But come on, by this point, you should know why Amelie is super badass. So let's follow her. Let's share some love. Hashtag Team Amelie. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep shining out there. Keep rocking.
Thank
Keep kicking
you.
ass. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.